Welcome to the Trading Sliders Podcast. Here we go, episode number 52 of the Trading Sliders Podcast. How's everybody doing out there? I'm Bobby Puckett. Here with me in studio is Kurt the Flash Bennett. What's going on, Flash?
Not much, man. Just been staying busy this weekend.
Yeah, busy?
Yeah.
I was busy at a different stage this weekend.
Yeah.
I was real busy. Not going to no races or nothing. Had to do some big boy stuff this weekend. Episode 52, Flash. 52 consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know.
That's 1 year.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of an anniversary, so to speak. Actually, it's 54 episodes.
Yeah.
52 weeks.
Right.
That's crazy. So we're gonna do a little bit of reminiscing. But this week's guest, for all you guys that grew up watching Thursday Night Thunder, that went to watch sprint cars in the state of Indiana, Jon Stanbrough, the Silent Gasser, is this week's guest.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Absolute fun trip that Flash and I made a couple weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Up to Indianapolis and hung out with Stanbrough, and he's got a lot of cool shit going on.
Yeah.
He's redoing old race cars. Had Steve Kinser's car in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff that we get into on this. This is one of those episodes that, for me and you, it was like, this is cool shit.
It was awesome,
Jon Stanbrough, man, it was
it makes this worth doing.
he was one of our heroes.
Yeah.
And the best thing about this this interview is it's done the Trading Sliders podcast way.
Yeah.
In house, in the backyard, right there in the middle of Race City, USA, Brownsburg, Indiana. Crickets, cicadas, trains, cop cars, high-speed chases, just like we do. So, perfect fitting to the year number one. Going to thank our sponsors, as we always do, Diesel Boys LLC. If you need any type of diesel truck work done, reach out to Brandon Hooker and the guys at Diesel Boys LLC. Our deep dives this week is with the Silent Gasser, Jon Stanbrough. It's brought to you each and every week by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. If you need any type of automotive clutch for any type of car, tractor, SUV, pulling truck, race car, reach out to Chris and the guys at Kentucky Clutch. They can get you taken care of. Our crash of the week. There's about 9 nominees this week.
We had 5 of them in one race.
Yeah. Our crashes of the week this week brought to you by D.O. Handyman Remodeling. If you need any type of handyman work done around the house and you're in the Kentuckiana area, Indiana, Louisville, the Kentuckiana area, reach out to David at D.O. Handyman and Remodeling, 812-989-5002. Our slider of the week being brought to you each and every week by Walt at Speed Decals, continuous sponsor since day one. Actually, Walt was the first person that stepped up and said, hey, I want to help you guys out. I like what you're doing. So that was some 51 weeks ago.
Yeah.
After episode number 1.
Right,
So Walt at Speed Decals is come on board, and we're really grateful for that. But this week's slider of the week, we got 2 triumphs of a story is what we'll go with.
Yeah.
So 2 slider of the weeks, 15 crashes of the weeks this week. But we only got 1 racetrack spotlight.
Yeah.
And it's being brought to you by JT's Trackside Catering. If you need any type of catering done for any type of event, birthday party, or race team, it's if you got a race team and you're going racing, this is what they specialize in: bringing food to the racetrack, feeding you. But reach out to Jeremy Thomas and JT's Trackside Catering. All right, Flash. I think that's everything.
I think we got them all the time.
Yeah. So first and foremost, 1 year anniversary. When we started this show a year ago, we didn't know if we were going to do this 1 week.
Yeah.
1 hour or 1 month.
We didn't know if we was going to make it to week 2.
Yeah. So throughout that time, we've had technical difficulties. When we say we've done 54 interviews or 52 interviews, 54 weeks, whatever.
54 shows,
54 shows. There's 3 or 4 interviews that didn't make it to air.
Yeah.
Because
of technical stuff.
Yeah. Either Bobby didn't hit record until it was halfway through.
Yeah.
Or we sit under a jet engine one time.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear anything. We've even I even have one that it's kind of a bloopers deal.
Yeah.
And from the Chili Bowl, And I think we're going to play part of that, not today, but coming up. Because I talked to Kyler, and he was like, yeah, man, let's do that, because it's kind of funny. But we had all kinds of technical difficulties that night. It was, and what really sucks is it was about 35 minutes of pure greatness, and we got about 3 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But we're going to play interview that could have been, should have been. And when we... here in a few weeks, we're going to meet up with Kyler and rehash it. I don't know if we can redo the magic, but we're going to rehash it.
That's kind of the fun part about the way we do this all. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen where we go.
No, ever.
Going to people's shops, going to wherever we do this at. Sometimes we do it at a rest area. Sometimes we...
and that's what, it's been really fun on our end about this. It's not the same thing every week.
Yeah.
You're going to have audio issues. You're going to have background noises. You're going to have, you have background, you have trains coming through while we're recording this.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us each and every week and telling everybody about us. And first and foremost, what I'm proud of in the first year is we've done so many different type shows, so many different type interviews. I mean, we've had, Nashville recording artists on, a Busch Grand National champion.
Yeah.
A couple Sprint Car Hall of Famers, a USAC Triple Crown winner, a UMP Summer National Hell Tour champion.
Yeah.
We've had kids that picked up their very first feature win.
Yeah, a bunch of them this year, actually.
We've had kids picked up their very first feature win. We've had one of the hot shoes in all of sprint car racing at 16 years old.
Yeah.
That's coming up a fire. We had a guy that was the talk of the Chili Bowl. And shout out to Clinton Bowles for picking up a win this weekend again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's back into racing. So we've had figure eight legends, local legends, family members, promoters.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to bring you every aspect of the motorsports industry. And, the reason why we do this is because we like pulling the curtain back. We like showing you guys what exactly this show is about, what exactly the sports is about.
Yeah.
And we want to do it in a positive manner. We don't want to shit on nothing. Okay, there's a lot of stuff we could do rants.
Oh yeah.
But we decided we're not going to go that route. We want to make, because there's plenty of people that shit on everything.
We want people to show up at the racetrack.
Yeah. And show up and show out and have a good time. And but thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to all of our listeners. And that's.
Yeah, we appreciate every one of you.
Yeah, we don't have no big hoopla. That's it.
Yep.
We're just going to do a show like we normally do.
Yeah.
So no crazy surprises or anything like that. But you're number one in the books. So I guess, is this season 2, or is it just we start on year number 2? I don't really know how that works.
Yeah.
So, but 52 consecutive weeks, something that we're very proud of, and it is our job to put content out each and every week. Make sure every Monday you guys got something to listen to. There's been a couple Tuesdays or so, because there are some technical things, but I don't want to say I think I've got it all ironed out, because then this one won't go up till like Thursday.
Yeah.
So Flash didn't make his way out to Brownstown, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But news of the week: Knoxville Nationals for the late models. Turns out that the track was okay, and everybody on the internet's still pissed off about it.
Oh yeah.
They were pissed off because it sucked. I guess they're pissed off because it worked.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that. Kel Drake is out of the 2B sprint car, the Scott Benedict sprint car. I've got a little take on that. But I wish he would have waited 1 week, because my take on it is it's not really going to be justified this week, because he tore up all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But I'm a Kel Drake fan, so I'm on just. But he picked the wrong week to tear up some more stuff.
Yeah.
That's for sure. When we had some big crashes on big tracks, Knoxville and Eldora.
Yeah.
When you go really fast, you usually crash really hard. So.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you caught this the other night, Flash. Did you hear James Essex's favorite type of racing? The best racing that he's ever seen?
No, I didn't hear.
The best races that he's ever watched.
Oh, I know what it was.
What was it?
IMCA.
No.
Oh, really?
No. USAC National Sprint Cars at Bloomington Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what James Essex said on Knoxville the other night. I said, duh, we've been telling you. No, James Essex, is best racing he's ever seen in his life. He was sitting at Bloomington Speedway.
Well, that's pretty cool.
He said it was like 04, 05. I'm pretty sure Jon Stanbrough won that one.
Probably so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure this week's guest won that. So, but that was pretty cool. Late model guy giving shout out to the non-wing sprint car world. And turns out that Dazen Pursley is that man.
Yeah,
he is that man.
Yeah.
We've kind of been a big fan of Dazen for a long time, and turns out he's that guy.
I didn't get to watch any of those because I was at Brownstown last night, but I did watch most of the high limit one. Okay. That was pretty good too.
Yeah,
I think Rico got beat the night before on the last lap, and he said, "I'm setting this thing up to go the other way tonight."
Yeah, well, funny thing about that is, when we get into that, we'll talk about that. Funny story about that. And Tony Stewart gave us a little insight during his Dale Jr. download about streaming. Yeah. So going to discuss that. So first, Tony Stewart and Rico Abreu joins forces to run High Limit next year. People saying, "Man, we've lost a car." Only thing we've lost is a World of Outlaw team going to High Limit. That's the only thing we lost. Because here's the thing: if Rico decided to go drive for Tony Stewart, nobody was going to drive Rico's car anyways.
Right.
It's a family car.
Yeah.
So you didn't lose a car. Yeah. I mean, you got a merger. You lost the team on, from the other series.
Yeah.
Is all you basically did. So you did not lose a car. You just I get why people were saying that, but it wasn't like Rico Abreu was driving for somebody else and they decided to fold up.
Right.
I mean, it was, Dad was footing the bill and was like, "Hey, we got to figure something out." So that's basically how that went.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that Tony Stewart's still involved.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I was going to say. It's good that he's keeping the team going like that, because he's already involved in the drag racing world now. I mean, so
Smoke's involved in everything.
He could just drop this and be like, okay, no big deal.
Yeah, we're not.
But
I'm
glad he's keeping it going.
Yeah, so Tony, Tony Stewart does Tony Stewart things. He just does whatever he wants when he wants.
Yep.
And two things I want to talk about the Rico being hired. Two things that I took out of the whole Dale Jr. Download is, first off, Dale Jr. is a race fan.
Yeah.
He is a race fan. Because they started talking about streaming. And I think Dale Jr. watches just as many, if not more, races than us.
Yeah.
Like he's talking about, the High Limit, the USAC, the car series. Now, somebody could have told him, "Hey, this is what you..." But he was very informative, so he pays attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
And he was asking Tony Stewart about streaming, and Stewart said, with owning Eldora Speedway, he thought, this is going to kind of hurt my gate, maybe. And he said, our crowds are bigger because of it. Yeah. And we got, he said,
you get more people to see it, and then they want to go actually experience it,
Well, that's what Stewart was saying. He's like, it's more, we get so many more first-time people, and they say, we've seen it on Flow.
Right.
We've seen it on streaming. So I thought Tony Stewart gave a little bit of insight. And one thing that Rico said, and Stewart said, and Dale Jr. said, when they went and did the FS1, the sprint car and the cars race on Fox Sports 1, the numbers from Flow didn't go down. Yeah. So the 450, 500,000 viewers on Fox Sports 1 was all new viewers. Yeah. Because the Flow numbers stayed the same. I'm pretty sure people didn't have Flow brought up on their tablet and watch it on TV.
On TV.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what was going on. So
yeah.
So that's very encouraging for money and revenue coming into the sport. I know they say it's hurting local racing because you can sit at home and watch it. But just like you said, you was at Brownstown, so you did not get to see the Four Crown stuff this weekend. Right. So it doesn't hurt local racing if your local racing show provides good entertainment.
Right,
so,
yeah.
But that's all I want to talk about that. It's good for the sport. Everybody's covered this week, but it's something that we do have to mention because when you got two of the most powerful people in dirt racing joining, it's something worth talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure. Now my Kel Drake hot take. All right, Kel Drake is out of the 2B car, and they put Mario Speedwagon, Mario Klauser in it for the weekend. I love Mario Klauser. I think he's great. I think Kel Drake got a raw end of the deal here. He went when he lost his ride. He was very professional about it. He didn't get all crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you own a car, and the kid He's a wreckers or checkers.
Right.
He's going for it.
Yeah,
he's staying on the gas. I mean, we junk it, we get another one down. I mean, that's the way all the very successful race car drivers are.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson was like that. Casey Kane was like that. Rich Vogler was like that. Vogler went out.
Yeah.
He lost his life racing the same way he's always raced.
Right.
But I'm not saying Kel Drake is Kyle Larson, Rich Vogler. I'm not saying that. But the kid drives the absolute wheels off the car.
Right.
So I hope he lands somewhere. Hope he gets a ride. He's one of those guys. He reminds me a lot of J.J. Yaley.
Yeah.
Just when Yaley was young, it was not maybe I'll get it the next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and get it now.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that a lot.
Yeah.
And then he goes and has a big midget wreck that he didn't need. He just tried a little too hard.
Yeah.
And end up getting hurt, and he's going to be sitting out for a while. So it's a bad week for me to, be saying, hey, kid just goes hard. You need to give him a break. And then he goes and puts Stockton in the wall and flips 15 times.
Yeah.
Him and Zach Wagle.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they both they had some not serious injury. I mean, well, it's serious, but not life-threatening injuries by any means. But
right.
Kel Drake got a bruised torso and a bruised heart from a wreck.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a
hard
wreck.
Yeah.
And he did flip. It seemed like 75 times.
Oh yeah.
That was one of those things where I was like, damn, man.
Yeah. They had some bad ones this week.
Yeah. And speaking of big hits as well, we'll start with Thursday. We'll do Knoxville Nationals first, then come back to Fort Crown. Thursday, first off, hats off to Knoxville for not canceling the races after 7 inches of rain.
And what about Knoxville, though? I was going to mention that, too. Thursday night, lane and a half, hammer down as hard as you can go. And then the next night, it kind of slicked off all the way top to bottom. And then last night, they got it right.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Knoxville Raceway, you're not one of the most successful racetracks in the country and have no damn clue what's going on.
Right.
I mean, they know what's going on. It rained for, I think they said they got 4.5 inches of rain at the racetrack that day.
Right.
So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say, okay, it's going to be on the wood all night.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No.
I mean, that just is what it is.
Yeah.
And so many people bitching on social media. I just get so.
And then everybody goes, look, well, there's nobody in the stands. Well, it's chance of rain all day, every day, almost.
Why?
I mean, he's going.
I had the same conversation. The racetrack hosts 45,000 people.
And I don't think it looks like it's easy to get to Knoxville.
No,
I mean, just from what I've.
No, it's not very easy
I've never
to get
been
there. Yeah, it's not very easy to get there.
It's a super nice place, though, it looks like.
Once you get there, it's great.
Yeah.
But it's not real easy to get there. But here's the thing. The racetrack holds over 40,000 people.
Well, not just that. The week before, you had people at Eldora for
5 days.
5 days. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody can't take a vacation to go to Knoxville the next week. I mean, it's just the way it works out sometimes.
And here's the thing. The race paid $75,000 to win.
Yeah.
And they just announced today next year's dates. So you think if they're losing money.
Yeah.
They're not just being stubborn and saying, I'm going to lose $300,000 every year and we're going to make this work. There's more people there than what it looks.
Oh, yeah.
Because you see them scattered out at the bottom down the front stretch. Now, I'm not saying they had a great crowd. Don't get me, I'm not putting out there. But your local Saturday night crowd, your biggest crowd you've had of the year, it didn't cover what they had at Knoxville. Knoxville had more than you this week. That's just
those stands are huge.
Yeah, well, and it's like, the Jackson 100 coming this week in Brownstown.
Yeah. Knoxville's
probably going to have more people that was at Knoxville than would be at Jackson. But Jackson's going to look great on TV because it's going to be full.
Right.
But it's a quarter mile, small grandstand. Right. So, I mean, trust me, it wasn't full by any means. I'm not saying that. But Thursday night, track was on the wood. And late models do what late models do when it's on the wood.
Yeah.
First off, hold on. If you run a late model, a modified, stock car, not so much, it doesn't matter, but late model or modified, and the track's going to be wide open and they're going to build a fluff. I know all your guys, you run a tie down right front shock and you're trying to get the nose on the ground.
Yeah.
Just put a couple Packers in.
Yeah.
Just raise it
around just a little bit.
Just a quarter inch. I promise you, in the longevity, you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put some Packers in and raise it up just a little bit.
Don't tear the nose off every time.
I mean, the late models look like the sprint cars flipping all over the place.
Yeah.
Dalton Wilson I seen people shitting on Dog Wilson too.
he got a bad rap on that dude.
Yes,
because he was. I mean, that was not his fault in any way possible in my eyes.
That wasn't his or Huddy's fault.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm not getting up in the fluff. Right. I'm running off of that because I don't want to tear my stuff up. And Hudson's like, he left me enough room. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
He's no way in the world he could see him up there.
No.
There's no way possible.
Because Huddy actually like ramped off his right front with his left front, so he was,
Yeah, it was
just one of them deals. Plus, you're on the wood right there in the corner, wide open, and that car's up as high as it'll go, and it don't take much to touch. You touch wheels, and if you get that wheel a foot off the ground, at the speed they're carrying through that corner, they're gone. I mean, it's just nothing you can do.
And this week's D-Ho Handyman Crash of the Week is Hudson O'Neal doing his best impersonation of the Lucas Wolf sprint car wreck, all up in the catch fence.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed that race car.
That's a 20-foot tall fence, and his whole doghouse in the car was over the fence.
Yeah, that's
crazy how high up he was.
And then, did you see the interview with Hudson where he's like, "That's the first time I ever flipped."
Yeah.
I mean, I feel fine. I'm thinking, damn, kid, you're young.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to feel fine in a few days. My old ass fell out of a go-kart the other night. Can't
the
even
way
walk.
that thing fell off the wall, I mean, it was a 10-foot fall down when you hit front end hit. You could actually see the clip bend when it hit the ground.
Yeah, it was
bad.
Yeah, it was just one of those deals. I mean, it was.
Yeah. I'm glad to see him get out okay.
Yeah, they tore up a little bit of stuff.
And Carson's wreck was bad too.
Yeah, Carson Ferguson. He just wrecked. He got in the. Yeah. I mean, that was car being too over on the right front. And Tyler Bruni did the same thing. He just didn't get upside down.
Right.
Well, I don't think he got upside down. They didn't really have video of it.
I think he got hurt a little bit, didn't he? Because he wasn't there the next day. Did he show up last night?
I don't think so. I think he's a little roughed up. Yeah, he was. And Dallin Murdy made his go and had motor issues. But I think Murdy was going back last night.
Yeah, he was back last night. Yeah. I don't know how he did. I don't know if he made it or not. But
they were putting in a modified engine, a steel block. Open modified engine. So he said he's taking a knife to a gunfight.
A track like that, that's kind of
that's a little tough. So he didn't have all of his cards in a row. Everything. But overall though.
And what about night 2 though, when they come back and Huddy and Carson's both fast time?
Yeah, that's a
quick time.
That's like
with the backup cars.
They're like, they're just kids, man. It ain't no big deal. But Saturday night's Knoxville National Late Model Race was a phenomenal race. Davenport, Moran, RTJ were just going at it. Hudson started 15th. Yeah. Drove his way up. One thing I like though, I had a bunch of shit going on. So I had all TVs on and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I heard Davenport complain not one time this weekend.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think I did. So I'm going to give you a hat shake, Jonathan Davenport.
Yeah.
Because that's right up your alley to bitch a little bit. I mean, the track was hammered down. You blew an engine up. I mean, now I'm not saying he didn't. Maybe he did and I missed it. But, I kind of just thinking, congratulations. So, but Hudson O'Neal started 15th and just put it on the bottom. And the track streaked up, had some moisture up top on the cushion, moisture up top, slick in the middle, and some streaky stuff. And it raced really good, Super Late Model feature there at Knoxville. So so everybody that was upset that
19 lead changes or something like that, something crazy like that.
So everybody that was upset about Knoxville racing good was the same ones that was bitching about it racing.
Did you hear Essex talking about that last night on there? He said everybody's talking about how bad Knoxville is. It's a sprint car track. You can't pass and all this. He said we had 19 lead changes, people. He said,
people believe what they want to believe.
Yeah. It's a sprint car world out there at that track most of the time anyway. So.
It's understandable. I mean, I get it. That's like, Hopstock's coming up this week. I'm pretty sure it won't be full.
No.
It won't be full. I mean,
it should be.
It should be, but it won't be.
Yeah.
So, so that's how Knoxville Nationals went. Huddy took the $75,000. He was going to be our slider of the week, but then Days and Pursley went out and did Days and Pursley things. So, so moving over to the 4 Crown Nationals. This one, Flash. Hold on a second. I'm gonna play something for us real quick.
Okay.
They have big hearts and a whole lot of horsepower. Brave souls and the will to win. Any night of the week, they are still the local heroes. And they live for the sound of thunder.
that flashed.
Yeah.
This one here felt like Thursday Night Thunder.
Yeah.
It felt like we were not kids, teenagers in early 20s. Kids does. We were still kids then.
Yeah.
That felt like us go get home and watch the features at Earl's place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
40 non-wing sprint cars, 24 midgets. Midget car count was down a little bit. And after the crashes and stuff, we know why.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't want to go there. You get, their big hits and
Right.
you get hurt. I mean, you just do.
Yeah.
But Thursday night, sorry, I'm skipping to the end of the foreground. Thursday night, Briggs Danner put on an absolute clinic.
Yeah, he did.
It was an ass kicking and a half from our former guest, big fan of Briggs Danner. Just one of those kids that just throws him over his shoulder and goes.
Yep.
If there's he's a wheel man.
Yeah,
he's
a wheel man. He just, especially on the bigger tracks, those momentum tracks like that too, he's really good.
Yeah, he just he does things and kind of like Harry Hyde.
Yeah.
Does things as I can't believe you did in my race car, Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does some things. I'm just like, damn, Briggs, chill out.
He bounced her off the wall 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you're not at Port Royal.
Yeah.
Chill. You hit the ball here hard enough, you're gonna be in the catch fence.
Yeah.
But
break that right rear off, you're not gonna like it.
No, ask Max Adams.
Yeah.
First off, crash number 2, Dio Handyman crash number 2 came into the B main Thursday night.
Yeah.
When Max Adams got into the oil that was laid down, spun around, put 5, 6, 7 of them on their lid, flipping end over end into the catch fence. The cameraman in the infield about ate a right rear. I mean, all kinds of craziness going on. Thankfully, everybody was okay then.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very bad issue. But so Thursday, Briggs Danner won. Hell of a race. Friday, this is when Days and Pursley starts doing Days and Pursley. Friday, we had the Great Lake. That's so hard for me to say.
Yeah, Great Lakes.
Great Lakes Outlaw Super Sprint Series.
Yeah.
The Gloss Series. You know what's funny? I've probably seen that 360 division more than any wing sprint car division ever back in the early 2000s, and I still can't say the damn name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gloss. It's the Gloss Series, okay?
Yeah.
But they had 40 of them, and then 34 high-limit 410 wing sprint cars. Friday night, Aaron Reitzel took the win over Rico Abreu. Rico led to about 3 to go, and then Reitzel just put it on the cushion. Rico started short sliding himself. Reitzel put it on the cushion, went around him. But Days and Pursley just absolutely annihilated the field. Won by 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And pretty cool thing. They had Brian Herbert in the booth for the high-limit races with Chase Randall and Chase Rodman.
Yeah.
Chase Randall wasn't in the booth. He was out there doing quickest chicken things on the track. Chase Rodman and Tyler Courtney. Sunshine's good in the booth.
Yeah,
he's good at explaining, the feel of the car and how to turn down.
He talks good too. I mean, you can.
Yeah, Sunshine. I'm a fan of Sunshine. I'll be honest. I've always kind of liked Sunshine.
Yeah.
I didn't really know him.
Yeah.
Since I've talked to him a few times, especially since his record. His demeanor and love for racing, you can't match that. I can see why him and Brian Clausen were best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I can really see that because at first you kind of got not really an arrogant state. He was just shy.
Yeah.
Shyish. But he coming out of his scale a little bit. I like Sunshine. I'm a Sunshine guy now. But yeah, he did really good. But so Dason Pursley won by 6 seconds. So Sunshine said, well, Pursley's trying to win the 5 crown here at the 4 crown.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool line.
Yeah.
And another thing, so we go into Saturday. The sprint car feature, Pursley wins on the fence, just met on the wood. I mean, just absolutely on the fence. When we go to the midget feature, Pursley's running good, but he's not great. KTJ has the midget to win, really.
Yeah.
But KTJ starts cheating the cushion on entry, and Pursley's putting the right rear in it just the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, Pursley goes around him, and at the end of the race, KTJ, probably my favorite line I've heard of anybody in Victory Lane or on the podium interview.
Yeah.
So tell us about the car. And our buddy Drake York, last week's guest, always gets the guy that just seems to be aggravated.
Just got beat. Just wrecked.
Yeah. Tell us about the car. Our car was great. And Drake's like, all right, you want to elaborate on the race? He said, I just got outballed tonight.
Yeah.
And Drake looked at him. He said, yeah, I got outballed. He's got bigger balls than me. He just drove around me. I'm like, all right, KTJ, I like a man that just says, hey, guess what? I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And it took Drake York by surprise. He's like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's got bigger balls than me. Like, he elaborated on his answer.
Man, Drake's really good too, though. As much as he gets around the pits, and when they have a wreck, he gets to them places. It's just they keep him busy all night. That's for sure.
He does. He earns his pay.
Yeah, I think it's you'd think a couple of them he could just miss if he wanted to, but he tries to get everybody in he can.
Yeah, and a couple of them he should. And like the Kel Drake one, he politely declined.
Yeah,
I said I don't think he politely declined, but he's got a quirky sense of humor about him that I like.
Yeah. Well, it's cool he does that too. Where you ask the guys before if they want to talk instead of just sticking a microphone in their face and
hey, you just screwed up.
Giving them a chance to say something they might not want to say.
Yeah. So, but I'm a big Drake. I'm a Drake York guy.
Yeah.
So come to Silver Crown, and I thought Brady Bacon was going to take off on this one. Bacon gets up to the cushion, and Bacon and Pursley's in team cars, so they look a lot alike.
Right.
So he goes up to the cushion, and then Pursley decides this is only 50 laps, and Brian Herbert said you can kind of run this like a sprint car race because there's so much fuel in it. You can just go hard the whole time.
Yeah.
And you don't got to save. You're not going to have no rubber. And speaking of that, hats off to Eldora. The racetrack was great all weekend.
Yeah, every single night.
Thursday night, it had character and a cushion. It slicked off Saturday, and then it slicked off with a cushion last night. You cannot.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
You cannot bitch about that. But Silver Crown, Pursley throws a couple sliders, gets up, takes the win. So he goes 3 out of. Actually, goes 4 out of 4, counting the Great Lake, but they don't count that as. They're just part of the 4 Crown weekend.
Right.
And then he broke a right rear shock running about 6th, but he didn't have nothing for Rico and GL Selzy. I thought Hot Sauce was going to pull him off one there.
Yeah, he was rolling. And Reitzel, man, all weekend too. Yeah, he was fast all weekend.
Yeah, another thing about Reitzel's interview when he won Friday that I liked, he said, when I walked into this place, I pulled in. He said, I kind of got like a little eerie feeling, like either it owed me or it was going to kill me. Yeah. And I was like, man, these sprint car dudes are just different.
If I felt like that, I probably would just load up and go back home.
And I guess it owed him.
Yeah.
I guess it owed him because he won and quite possibly could have won back-to-back. But Rico just was yet to be determined. And shout out to Rico for winning Wednesday at Lawrenceburg. Yeah, Rico picked up the win in Lawrenceburg. And did you see Scott? No, it wasn't Skylar G. Cy Lynch when he was quick time. So Sky Lynch calls out all the wing sprint car racers in the country.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys don't like going fast after we had a couple of wrecks at Eldora. Where's everybody at?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because they only had 23 cars.
Yeah.
He's like, I bet we got 40 at Eldora. We're going just as fast. I mean, he was just. Yeah. He's like waving the flag, like mad as hell, and nobody showed up. But I get it. I understand. Lawrenceburg's a different beast in a sprint car.
Yeah.
And those guys are racing all the time too. So,
right.
But track was great. 4 Crown was good. Yeah. Flash went to Brownstown Saturday.
Yeah.
How was the trip to Brownstown?
Oh, Brownstown was good. I went up there mostly just watched my nephew run, Brad Kemp and JT Huffman. But, man, the late model feature, Tyler Kane and what's him? He's got a crate motor in his car now.
Kid Dasco.
Kid Dasco. Yeah. And, man, they put on a show last night. They was 25 laps, and they wasn't 2 car lengths apart the whole time. I mean, Gilpin was blasting the top, and every now and then Tyler would run the bottom, and Gilpin would get a run up where he could probably maybe hear him up there, so he would go back to the top, and then Gilpin would dive to the bottom, and they ended up catching traffic with like 2 laps to go, and Kane made a good move there and got past 2 cars and put 2 cars between them, and so it wasn't too close to the end. But the race of the night was the
tell me Hornets. Please tell me
Hornets. It was the
Hornets.
Hornets. Dude, it was awesome. 2 guys on the bottom. I mean, running bumper to bumper on the bottom. These 2 old boys went to the top, and they were like half straight away back with like 15 to go. And me and a buddy of mine was sitting there, and we was like, he's not going to catch him running up top like he can tell he's not making ground. Well, I don't know. They both figured something out, and they run them guys down. And I didn't know who was going to win on the last lap. I mean, there was 4 of them that you could throw a blanket over coming to the line. It was good.
Well, that's
And I wish I would have known these guys' name, or all of them, because they all put on a great show. But I really haven't been up here and watched the Hornets this year, so I couldn't tell you who they were.
But I'm glad you said that, because a few weeks ago I had somebody ask me and said, You only give the late models and mods and sprint car results. Yeah. What about the littler guys? And I was like, man, our show's already too damn long. I said, please tell me. That's what I said. Please tell me the Hornets.
That was the race of the night. Now, me when Hornets come up, I'm like, but that was awesome. Yeah. But another good thing last night, though, not really a good thing. I was up there helping my nephew, but guy about spun out in front of him. Well, he clobbered him just a little bit, kept going, but knocked the nose all back. So he come in. So we actually got to play in the pits for a while last time. We had to take the front fender off and pull the bumper out and put it all back on and all that good stuff.
I thought you said the drone again, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. We actually got to do some work last night. Yeah. And then, but I told him last night he had a GoPro on, and. So in the feature, he's running good. Started like 12th. He's up to like 8th already in like 4 laps. So they have a caution. He's rolling around. He gets over right in front of us over there, and the whole car just blows up into flames. And they had a fuel line come loose, so it didn't really hurt nothing too bad. Burned a few wires, but that was about it. But he got lucky and got out there.
GoPros are bad luck, man.
Yeah, but I told him, I said, anytime we have a GoPro on the car, we either go out of the ballpark into the pine trees. We flip all the way down the straightaway, or now you burst into flames. I said, keep the GoPros off the car.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that won't run them. There's a lot of guys that just won't do it.
Zach Stalker was there with us. He was helping us put Brad's car back together, and he goes, he said, man, we don't put GoPros on no more.
Yeah, that's funny. The GoPro jinx. Yeah, it's always something though.
Yeah,
it's always something.
But JT had a good run last night too. He started back there about 12th, and he ended up running 3rd, so he ran up there pretty good. And I'm trying to think who won. Oh, the same guy that always wins. Blake Hull.
I think
it is. Yeah,
I think he's won like 13 or 14 races this year.
Is so smooth. It's crazy how smooth.
Is he still on street tires too?
I think he is. But he runs the bottom, but it's like he never loses any momentum, any speed in the middle of the corner. He's just so smooth through the corners. He's not beating them guys down the straightaway. He's beating them in the turn.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's 90% of the races are won and lost.
He's got to figure it out. So I mean, but what's his name? The Carr Preston.
Yeah.
He was back there racing with JT and them, and I guess they wasn't really gaining on him none, and they were probably, I don't know, half straightaway behind. Well, he went to the top and started blasting the top, and he run Hull down. And I think if there's 5 more laps, he might have beat him.
He's gonna be a pretty good little race car driver. Yeah, he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So,
but it was a good night last night up there. It was really good. What's the other class that was running? Oh, the Fords, they were good too.
Yeah.
There was probably 5 of them you could throw a blanket over at the end. It was really good.
See, sometimes you just go to the racetrack and it works out.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're there.
And I was thinking the track wasn't going to be good because it was like really slick from bottom to top. But it had just enough cushion up there to where if you was good, you could run on it. If you wasn't good, you was going over it.
That's because there wasn't no super late models to blow it all the way off.
Yeah. But Gilpin he ran every lap on the top and just blasting. He's so good up there.
If there's a guy better on the top than Devin Gilpin, well, nowadays better than Devin Gilpin, because there was some guy named O'Neill that was
that could do it.
Yeah. But if there's somebody better than Gilpin on the top at Brownstown, I like to see him. So,
so it's pretty cool.
So that's what we got into. We're gonna get off here and listen to Jon Stanbrough. This week's deep dive, and then come back with upcoming events and a racetrack spotlight. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, on this week's Trading Sliders deep dive. We're in Brownsburg, but he's always going to be from Avon, Indiana, in my eyes, because that's what the shirt always said. The silent gasser, Jon Stanbrough. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man.
Thanks for coming on, first and foremost. Guys, if you've got a show and you're trying to get a hold of this guy, he's one of the hardest guys in Indiana to get a hold of because he doesn't do social media, okay? You got to come by the shop and just hopefully he's here working on something. First off, congratulations on going in the Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Especially for the little guy, the blue collar guy, the blue collar racer, because everybody sees the glory side of sprint car racing, but they don't understand what it takes for a guy like you that did majority of his career on a local level to make it in sprint car's highest honor. So congratulations on that.
Thanks. I was pretty surprised when they called and said that I was inducted.
Yeah, that was one of those things when I seen it was 24 when you went in, correct?
Yeah.
When I seen the list, I said, the right is still in the world, because there's not been a more badass sprint car racer that I've seen in the last 20 years than Jon Stanbrough.
Right.
And they did what they're supposed to do. Growing up and racing in Indiana, first off, was it always sprint cars, or did you do any stock cars or anything?
So you want me to start at the very beginning?
Well,
yeah.
All right.
We're in your world.
Yeah.
We're sitting at your shop, your world. You start how you want to start.
Okay, so right up the road's Raceway Park.
Yes.
And I don't remember, every Friday or Saturday night, they used to have stock car races. They had, I think, street stocks, hobby stocks, late models. But this was back in the 70s, so it's nothing like it is today.
Right.
But my dad would take me out there. We'd go out almost every weekend. Our neighbor had late models, and they raced out there. And far back as I can remember, that we were always around race cars or muscle cars or hot rods. And so I don't know how many years we went out there. I know it was in the mid-70s, and always, like I said, it was always late models, and occasionally they'd have USAC sprint cars out there, and the first time I ever saw a sprint car, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, sprint cars on a 5/8 mile track, it will make your hair stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no clue there was such a thing in this world until this weird looking car come out to the racetrack, because like I said, you see a stock car, you see that kind of car on the road every day.
Right.
But what's this? And then I saw it run, and I'm like, wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
That's my goal. That's my baby right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you do any pavement racing at first, or was it all strictly been dirt from day one?
So it wasn't too long after I saw the sprint cars, I'd say 4, 5, 6 years, we actually went to a quarter midget track that was kind of on the east side of Indianapolis, and it was pavement. And my sister and I, 2 weeks after we went to that track, we both had quarter midgets, so we started out on pavement. Then we went dirt quarter midget racing in Illinois, and actually there was a dirt track in Terre Haute. I think there's still one there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember all where we went, and we kind of went back and forth throughout our quarter midget career. And and then I jumped out of the quarter midget, and I think I got in a mini sprint. I think we went right to dirt. We may have run a little pavement, but what I can remember, it was all dirt. And then
the cool stuff.
Yeah, you did the fun stuff.
Right. And then we got a late model. I wanted a sprint car, but I was, I think, 16, maybe.
Did Mom make the late model decision?
I was getting to that. Yeah, she did.
But this just always happens.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell a story. She hates it when I tell this story. But when we were in Avon, I don't know if you remember the name Lloyd Shores, sprint cars. He built sprint cars in Avon. And my dad just so happened to have a muffler shop in Avon, and we were within 5 minutes of each other. And my dad and I went over there one day, and Lloyd had just got a trade-in, like a kit car. And we loaded it up in the truck, and we were proud driving home. And when we got home, the back door almost come off the hinges when my mom came out. And she was yelling and screaming and crying at us, and we tucked our tails between our legs and got back in the truck and took it back. And
said, we forgot to talk to the boss.
Yeah,
we assumed this is what we was going to do, but that's not how it's going to work.
Yeah. And so my choices were nothing or something with fenders on it. So we got a late model, and trying to remember my very first race, I think was maybe at Putnamville, and we ran Perrigan and Bloomington. We might have went to Brownstown a few times.
So he ran all the cool tracks.
Yeah.
He ran all the fun tracks. Yeah. Especially back then, late models back then, you go to Brownstown, you had to be on your A game.
70 cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go in and get beat up by Jim Curry, and you're like, whoa, hold on a second. I don't know if I signed up for this.
Yeah. Well, and I struggled a little bit, just jumping out of a little quarter midget mini sprint right into a late model. And we got to be friends with Larry Taylor. I don't know if you remember that name. He was pretty big at Putnamville with the modifieds and the late models. He jumped in the car one weekend at Perrigan and kind of got it set up for me, and we went back the next weekend and actually made the trophy dash. And I got a good story to go along with this if you want to hear it.
No, that's what we do. We love the stories.
Okay, so at Perrigan, first trophy dash I ever make, and I start outside the front row, and we take the green, we go into the corner, and whoever was behind me, I didn't have a clue who he was, just blasted me.
So you're not going fast enough, boy.
It felt like a freight train hit me.
Yeah.
So no big deal. We go back. We do the heat. We're in the feature. I think we're running third in the feature, and the fog comes in. They red flag the race, and I'm sitting in the car, and somebody comes up next to me and just cussing and yelling and screaming at me that I've done something wrong and hit him, and had never touched anybody the whole race.
Yeah.
So between my dad and the officials, they got him back to his car. Fog lifts, we start the race again, then the fog comes back in. Well, then they cancel it. So we get to the pits. I tell my mom, Dad, hey, I'm going up to pay window. Go up to the pay window, and I'm standing there with my girlfriend. Not a clue who's in front of me. And he's talking to his buddies, and his buddies point to me and say, there's that guy. And sure enough, it's the guy that was yelling at me. Turns around, starts yelling at me again. And I just said, man, I didn't hit you. I don't have a mark on the car. You were behind me the whole race.
Yeah.
And he took his Coke and threw it in my face. And I was just in shock. But within seconds, I didn't know my dad was standing behind me. He blasted that guy. They went down to the ground, and I thought my dad was just gonna pop his head right off his body. And they finally got him apart, and so all the way home, my mom was laughing and carrying on, thought it was funny, and he was still enraged, driving home. But it's funny, we can look back at it now and laugh.
We have a similar situation.
I was going to say, it reminds me exactly of the situation.
We had a similar flash one night at the pay window. I don't know how many guys it was going to take the whooping, but I know how many they was going to use. And they were using
more than 10.
Yeah, they were using quite a bit of them. That's the only time ever in my life where I've gone to a fight knowing that the outcome probably wasn't going to be too high. I was like, they're going to kill this guy. I'm about to help him. So, we had almost the same incidents in Bardstown, Kentucky. Yeah, it was one of those things. When we got out of there and there was just minor injuries, I was like, we did pretty damn good.
We stopped about 10 miles down the road to check how hurt we was.
Yeah, we regrouped and said, you want to go back? And he's like, hell no, I don't want to go back.
Well, we went ahead and probably ran dirt for 2 or 3 more years, and then we actually ran pavement late model up at Anderson, and I think we ran Salem and Winchester.
He's ran all the good tracks.
Yeah.
If you're going to run an asphalt track, those are the ones.
Well, if you ran a pavement late model at Winchester and Salem, the sprint car at Kokomo doesn't feel fast at all. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. It still does.
Yeah. So 38 years of racing, 30 in a sprint car. You drove for some legendary car owners. As me, I've got the old Fox. First, I want to tell everybody, I've got a shirt. How long? You think this is 20 years old? A shirt?
It could be.
It was.
No, it's it could be.
I mean, it's the Fatheads, Fox Brothers. So it was.
No, it's not that old. Maybe 15.
Okay, 15. Yeah, and for you guys that know me and like to hear my food stories, I can still fit in it, kind of. But I said, I got to wear it up there. I got to let him know that I've been a fan for 25 years. But you drove for the Fox Brothers. You drove for Paul Hayes. I mean, how did you get into situations? Was it luck? Was it, you want to say skill? Or, I mean, how did you get into situations to have 2 legendary car owners? Because once you got to the Fox Brothers car, it's like sprint car racing was over.
Yeah.
In central Indiana. He was like, all right, guys, I hate to tell you, but you're running for second. He's humble. He's not going to say this, but I can say it. You're running for second. I'm here, and you guys just go ahead and fight for second, and we'll hit the road, because I think you've won over 20 features like 3 or 4 years in a row, correct?
Not in a row, but we did one 3 years in a row, I believe. Yeah. So after the late model racing was over with, I was old enough. I bought my own sprint car. Mom couldn't tell me what to do. And
Mom didn't have a choice on this one.
Right. And she didn't like it, but she became a huge fan of the sprint cars. And when I retired, she was like, well, what are we going to do now? And why are you quitting? What are we going to do? And I go, well, I can't race forever. So anyway, I raced a couple years, and finally won my first race. And there's a good story with that race too, if you want to hear that.
We want to hear all the stories. We don't even mind hearing the bad ones either.
Yeah.
That's the way we are.
Well, I say a good story.
Yeah.
It wasn't good at the time, but so anyway, I won my first feature at Bloomington, and I got together with Bob Kinzer. Of all people to get together with.
Yeah.
You got to run over a Kinzer in Bloomington. Yeah. You tried to get beat up some nights.
They done blocked all the roads. He's not going home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get in a fight. I didn't want to get it together with anybody. I never wanted to hit anybody to win a race.
Yeah.
But it was just, as people say, one of them racing deals, and he got the short end of the stick, and I went on and won the race, and he was pointing at me when the race was under yellow. And then at that time, that was the early years, like when aluminum blocks were just coming out, and you had to run weights on the car. So we pulled up to the weight station, and sure enough, here comes Bob and some of his crew, and he wanted to fight. And I'll tell you another thing, back up a little bit. So I have a picture in my office, my very first feature win, and I'm standing there with a frown on my face, and people ask me, man, why aren't you smiling? Everybody else is smiling and you're not smiling. And I said, well, I was looking up at the grandstands, and the fence was covered with people yelling and screaming and cussing and beer bottles, because I'm in Bloomington, Bob Kinzer's country, and I got together with Bob Kinzer. So, I couldn't believe the crowd that was in the pits at the time. I couldn't hardly get back to my trailer. Once we finally got loaded up, we actually had to have a police escort out. Because,
I've been there too, man.
Yeah. So, but I raced my own car, I think, until 92 or maybe the beginning of 93, and then I got my first ride with the Law Brothers, and I think I ran that car 93, 94, 5, 6, maybe 7, I can't remember, but I actually won my first 3 USAC races with them.
That's funny that you say you got your first ride with the Law Brothers, because that's kind of a common thread. We talk to the sprint car guys. It's always the Law Brothers. It seems like everybody says, I got my first real ride. I got my first real opportunity.
Yeah.
So, they've been in the racing community, especially in Indiana, for as long as I can remember. I mean,
right.
So, all those years, do you ever have any regrets of not chasing USAC full time, or was it to the point where you really couldn't do it because you had a business to run, you had other stuff going on?
Well, I started my business in 92, but I actually tried to run the full dirt and pavement USAC series somewhere in that neighborhood, 92 maybe, and I had a motor for the pavement car and a motor for the dirt car, and I had motor trouble, and it just got too expensive, and I took it all apart, sold the pavement car, got my motors fixed, and tried to regroup and run the rest of the 92 season, but it was too expensive for me to try to chase the USAC stuff. I did, I know we committed 1 full season with the 53, and then maybe a couple years later with the 21 car, and then with the 37 car. So I had at least 3 full seasons where we committed to it.
Well, I know, because I was always waving the flag for you. I was fighting the fight, because then everybody says, yeah, but Stanbrough beats up on the little guys. I was like, hold up. There's no little guys in sprint car racing. And I mean, won a couple track championships at Kokomo. I mean, the king of Indiana Sprint, like, he is the king of Indiana Sprint Series.
Yeah.
Like, the KISS Series is named after him. Like, there was no beating up on little guys. Some guys, you know, right time and situation. Just like, you know, talking about you starting in the late model world. Like, I've said this a few weeks ago back, and I almost got some hate mail over it. But I told everybody that if Don O'Neill was born in today's racing society, Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr. would have a whole lot of trouble on their hands, because he raced like they did on a small budget. And you're one of those guys, to me, that hard-nosed, always super clean, but time and situation, your situation was great with the Fox brothers, but it was at a part of your career where, you know, you already knew what you was going to do. I mean, you've already done what you was going to do, and, you know, and you were okay with that. And to me, I found that fascinating, because a lot of guys in the racing world, they're always chasing the next. All right, what's next? What am I moving on to? And you're like, then just come on down here and get you some. And I always appreciated that.
Well, and you mentioned something about some of the drivers and late models. I want to tell you some of the guys I ran with. I ran with Don O'Neill and his brother Marty, Ray Gotze, C.J. Rayward, Jack Boggs, Larry Moore, Billy Moyer.
Yeah.
I ran with all of the big dogs then.
Yeah.
And now getting on to, you know, there's a lot of things that factor into where I get to run or where I race. It's just not all my call, especially when I'm driving for someone. So those people ought to sit back and ask themselves, hey, if you were in my position, you were driving a race car, and your car owner says he's going to go wherever, you going to tell him no?
Yeah.
I don't want to go there?
No.
You're not going to.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is, too, if they've never sit in a race car, they can sit there and say, well, and that's not true. Anybody that knows non-wing sprint car racing, non-wing sprint car races in Indiana, there's no slack anywhere.
No, it doesn't get no tougher than that.
No, and it's funny that you say that, because that's what I was always, you know, saying, like, guys, you guys have to go watch this guy at Bloomington, Gas City, Puntmanville, Kokomo. It doesn't matter the track start. It doesn't matter. I mean, Indiana Sprint Week is the toughest thing to do, and he won it on I don't want to say shoestring budget, but a budget compared to what you was racing against. You know, he said, all right, guys, you're in my neck of the woods, and let's do this. Now, getting out, you didn't race in, you know, Iowa and Missouri that much. Okay, over there you might struggle a little bit, but when they come to your neck of the woods, hey, it's game on. And you know, I said the same thing a few years back about Ricky Lewis. A lot of people, yeah, but he's not doing that. Like, you know, time and situation. You don't accidentally win 25 sprint car races. I don't care who you're racing against. That's hard enough as it is. And, you know, that's what I've always respected about you, is like, you were okay with your situation. You wasn't trying to be a big fish in a small pond. You took all comers. You were, let's do this. You'd put the wing on and let's run some outlaw races and all-star races when they come to town. And, you know, I always admired that about you, because, you know, people have a hard time accepting where they are in their racing career. And it seems like you was just like, all right, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. And we're going to be the best at doing it.
I kind of knew where I was going to be pretty early in my sprint car career, because, you know, at that time, there was some guys that came from sprint car racing and went to NASCAR. And when I started racing, that didn't happen. And that's what I wanted to do. But everybody said, oh, you're too young. You need to keep racing, get more experience. Well, it evolved into a different direction to where now I was too old. Yeah. I was in my late 20s and I was too old.
I'm in my prime and now I'm too old to do this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was fine with, hey, if I get to run a sprint car 2 or 3 nights a week and get to run USAC races, I'm good with it. There's not a lot of people that can, you know, jump in a sprint car, and the people that are bashing me for wherever I raced and whenever I raced, they probably hadn't even ever run a sprint car.
100%. Yeah. Well said. That's
exactly.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I was like, hold up, man. And that's when the internet just starting, and everybody's always got something that, we say this all the time. Everybody's a smart ass, but nobody's very smart. And that's just, unfortunately, there was, when I came across that just irritated the hell out of me, because as a fan, as a sprint car fan, a lot of people didn't understand that the USAC guys, they still race locally, because USAC, they primarily raced in Indiana, basically, anyways. Indiana, Ohio, Illinois. It wasn't what you see now in Flow. They weren't traveling to Oklahoma to race. The champ cars did, but the sprint cars, you pretty much race those guys every night of the week anyways.
Right. And everybody's a winner behind the keyboard, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of those people, too, I've had conversations with them before. They honestly, and I'm not bashing the fans by no means, but the people that are bashing you on the computer, a lot of times don't even know what they're talking about. Yeah. Because I've had a conversation, it's been a long time ago, sitting somewhere, maybe doing a podcast in a bar or a radio show, and a guy comes up to me, well, you won at such and such track, and there wasn't nobody there. And I go, name your guy.
Yeah.
Name him. Who you want to name? And he'd name his guy, and I go, beat him.
Yeah.
Name another one. I beat him. Yeah. What do you want me to do, man?
Yeah.
I'm going to race wherever my car owner wants to race. I'm going to race.
My car owner says we're going here. We got 25 laps, and at the end, I'm going to the pay window.
And the other thing about it too, like for instance with the 53, obviously we know they didn't have a huge budget.
No.
There was guys in the pits that had more money in their trailer than what we probably raced on all year, and so. Another example of that was, we didn't go to the Eastern Storm in PA and out in that area. We stayed home here, and we'd run the King of Indiana shows and run some
Midwest sprint car stuff, and
$2,000 or $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 shows here. We made more money here than they did going out there. So
it's and that's one thing that I've always been a defender, because I was a budget racer. I was the guy that, hey, so you're throwing that stuff away? Well, give that here. I can fix it. Because
I've straightened many shocks.
Yeah. Like
Same way.
I'm a fabricator. I can cut something in two. I can take half of what you're throwing away and make it good. So I've always been a guy that's kind of leaned towards the budget side of racing, because I know how it works. But you talk about, the King of Indiana's 6-time KISS sprint car, like that was almost your playground. That was, but in the same token, that was running your racetracks, your tracks that you run. One thing, there's 3 names that always get bunched together in Indiana sprint car racing, in my eyes. It's Dave Darling, Kevin Briscoe, Jon Stanbrough. And you guys have had some of the most fierce battles on the racetrack. There was never any animosity between you guys, anything was there? It was just competition, and may the best man win tonight.
Never was between me and Kevin. Dave and I got together a few times, and we were probably mad at each other for a week or two, but we got over it, and have all the respect in the world for Dave. And obviously we're not racing now, so it's easier to be a friends with guys when you're not racing.
Oh yeah.
Flash and I are friends now because of that. Yeah. We're not racing no more.
Yeah. And so, and just one other thing I was thinking about too, about everybody, bashing you for what you did. I've had several people come up to me and, have some smart ass remark to make after you won a race or something like that. And the thing that shuts them up the quickest is just ask them, where'd you finish?
Yeah,
where'd you finish?
Where'd you run tonight? Yeah.
Or I've told people before, hey, I got a helmet and a uniform. You can get in there and try her if you want to.
That kind of might have been what happened at Bardstown, though.
That's how.
Because of my smart.
Yeah. Flash kind of said the same thing that night, and that guy finished behind him, obviously, and he decided, well, I'll beat you in something tonight. So.
Yeah.
He tried to beat me in the grounds right there.
He was working on it. But 2-time Indiana Sprint Week champ, 4-time Hoosier Auto Racing Driver of the Year. And this year, where you should have kind of known. I mean, you were 2 or 3-time Sprint Car Hall of Fame Driver of the Year. So you kind of knew they was already paying attention to you. They already gave you some plaques. So they was like, all right, he was pretty good. We always ask former racers, current racers, you're still involved in the sport a little bit. You restore race cars, work on race cars. The state of sprint car racing right now, where do you think it's at, and where do you think it's going? Because you're a guy that can speak on this because you've done it from every angle.
Man, that's
it's a loaded question, huh?
It is. I think, I'm sure most people that are racing or have been racing for a long time would agree with me. So when I started, everything was expensive then, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. But one thing about racers, they always find a way to do it. Somehow they always find a way to do it.
Yeah.
I think sprint car racing right now, non-wing for sure, is probably just as good as it ever has been, to me, in my opinion. And honestly, where is it going? I don't know. I mean, because I wonder that about our country. Where's our country going? So, they want everything to be electric.
Yeah.
If everything's electric, then what's that do to sprint cars? You know? They going to make electric sprint cars, electric race cars? I don't know.
Well, I promise you, if they make electric race cars, the sprint cars will still be the badass race cars. They'll have the biggest electric motors on them, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in the same token as you, because I go to a ton of races, and non-wing sprint car racing is, I don't care what form of racing you like, non-wing sprint car racing is the best form of racing, in my opinion. But I'm just going to say that's a factual statement. I mean, the competition, the big motors, the slide jobs, the character, the non-downforce. Wing sprint car racing has evolved so much, but non-wing sprint car racing, it's still basically the same thing that you guys race with.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's probably the only division that has changed less than anybody else in any other division in the country.
I mean, the shocks have changed, the technology's changed, but the race car is still basically man versus machine. 600 horsepower race cars have gone to 900 horsepower race cars, but you're still going in the same bull ring, and you still got the same, the same problems each and every week.
Yeah, well, you're right about the motors too. Early in the night at some racetracks or a lot of racetrack, that's good, but I can remember towards the end of my career, trying to detune those things all night long when the racetrack got slick, and I'm sure they probably still maybe do that now. I don't know, but and the motors are better now than when I stopped racing. So, and they tried to do 360s, and look where that's gone now. And now we have the 305s here, and that's probably a good series. But you're running for less money. You have less in your car, but you're running for less money. So it's kind of the same as you have more money in your car, or you're running for more money.
I'm a fan of the 305 series here in Indiana, and I've been on record for saying this. I wasn't a real big 305 fan. I like wing sprint car racing, but 305 wing sprint cars, on all the tracks I've seen them on were bigger tracks, and it's just put it on the floor. But the bull rings in Indiana, the 305 produces good racing. I mean, because you got slick, you got chop, you got character. Anytime there's character, there's passing. And I don't care what anybody says. If it's slick from top to bottom and it has no rumbly stumblies, no chug hose, we don't want stuff tearing equipment up. But if it's just slick from top to bottom, usually it's one lane. It's just that's the way it is. But especially the 305 when they run with the 410s now, they get a big curve built up at Putnamville and Bloomington. Then it slicks off a little bit where they can use their power. The 305 series in Indiana, I'll go on record and say it's pretty fun. I'm a big fan of it. when I initially first started going, I wasn't. But I can say I can respect and enjoy, what they're doing, and more. And you see guys that ran. What I like about it is you got guys like Ethan Barrow that ran non-wing sprint car racing. Well, he's at the end of his career. He's doing that, and then you got young kids coming up. And anytime you got kids racing with veterans, and that's what makes non-wing sprint car racing so good. You got guys like forever. You had you and Darlin and Briscoe, and then you had the young kids coming up, and you had to deal with them. That's what makes racing exciting. And I think Indiana right now is. We've lost some tracks in Gas City and Twin Cities, but as far as the competition and the enjoyment factor, there's not, like, I know Pennsylvania's a sprint car state, I know Iowa's a sprint car state, but Indiana is the real sprint car state, in my opinion. So that's just where I'm at it. I know that it gets put out there that, High Limit, World of Outlaws, they've got a ton of money being pumped into them right now. But I think the non-wing guys, USAC does a great job, but, I think that they kind of dropped the ball a little bit throughout the years because they were the first people on TV. They could have not monopolized everything else, but they could have made sure that their sport didn't take a back seat, and it did for many years. But now I think with Flow and all the streaming, I think USAC's going in the right direction.
Yeah, and when I was still racing and we'd go to the tracks, say Knoxville, or we'd go out to Pennsylvania and race, anywhere we went where it was a wing sprint car track and non-wing guys come in, I had all kinds of fans coming down and tell us, man, we love this. You guys put on a better show, and you're passing and racing side by side. And I've never understood why all the fans that come in and say that, and we're not able to get a better pay, as high as the late models or as high as the World of Outlaws or High Limit guys.
Yeah.
And so you may be right about that now that there's more TV. Maybe it's.
I think it's coming back up because, I just remember just 5 years ago, USAC and I love USAC. I mean, it's the best non-wing sprint car racing, and I'm a non-wing guy. But just 5 years ago, I think USAC only had 3 $10,000 win races on their schedule. Now they've got a couple 20s, and so it's growing. But I just wish that it would have just always stayed. They were the first people to pay $5,000, but it's like when they got to 5, they was just like, all right, we're good, and didn't progress. And
as long as guys still show up, we're going to pay $5,000.
Yeah, we're going to pay $5,000, and we're going to make $5,000.
So, I think my first USAC race was somewhere in the early '90s, and at that time it paid $4,000 to win. And I can tell you through my entire sprint car career, it went from $4,000 to $5,000, and then maybe some $6,000 to win in PA. But that was it. In that span of time, it only went up that much.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing. I do know. I think all the USAC races at Eldora pay $10,000 though. Did Earl pay 10? No, he didn't. Okay.
In fact, my very first. One of my very first USAC races was at Eldora, and it only paid $4,000.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I'm telling you, I finished in the top 10, and at that time they would print a check out right there at the track. And that night, I got, I think, $750. Boy, I thought I was living. I was proud of that check. I showed that check to my dad, and didn't know any better at the time, but $750 for one night.
It's for something I love doing. This is awesome. This is incredible. Do you have any regrets over your racing career? Is there anything where you're just like, I wish, or is it, nah, man, I did it to the fullest?
I'd say probably, the race part of it. There's a few races that I lost, kind of bugged me. I don't know if I'd say it's a regret, just bugged me that I feel like I should have won a few more races that I lost.
You wasn't happy with just over 200 wins,
Well, I Yeah, that's good, I guess. But I guess I'm trying. I think of Steve Kinser when you talk about wins. So when you compare my wins to his wins, I'm like, it's not very good.
Yeah, but that's apples to oranges. He was racing 150 nights a year. We was racing 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
if you figured it up, it's probably.
Yeah. I'd say your winning percentage for what is it? 04, 05 was it like 45%? You won 50% of the races one year.
I think that was 07.
Okay,
because we won 30 races that year.
Yeah.
So we probably run about 60.
Yeah, win half your races. That's pretty good year. That's a that's a. If you look at it that way, you can't look at it. He raced 38 years at 100 nights a year.
Yeah.
You raced 38 years, and there's some 20s and 30s in there. So
right.
you gotta, you always gotta look at the positive.
Right. Yeah. Well, I am. I'm just, I guess I'm greedy.
Yeah, well, that's what race car driver
Every
is
race car driver wants to win. It doesn't matter. If you're a real race car driver, it's what you're wanting to do.
And what I like here, it's like being in my house. It's like being at the hood. Yeah. We got sirens in the background. That's almost like being in my house, man. You could just come down to Louisville, and we could have done this.
Yeah. That's usually every day.
Yeah.
There's a wreck or a fire somewhere.
If you listen to any of our shows, we got the train at his house every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're lucky. There's a railroad track right back there. We haven't heard it yet.
Well, no, we need one. We're gonna keep talking till we get one, because that's just kind of what we do. It's not trading sliders approved until you get sirens and a train coming through. That's one thing people like about our show. Well, I guess that's probably the only thing.
Yeah.
They're always like, we like where you guys just you go to the element, and like there might be cicadas, there might be crickets, there might be like, man, that's just what we do. We we go to their element. We hang out at race shops. We hang out at truck stops. We hang out all over the place. That's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you about this because you became kind of like a rock star. My buddy Jack Slash did the Follow the Corn documentary. How many people came up to you and asked you about the burnout on the Follow the Corn? Because I mean, you were like the rock star. At the end of the movie, he just lays the burnout in the Corvette.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know I had some comments about it, and that's funny you bring that up, because Sean and I actually rode, I think, from here out into the country so we could do that without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And I remember the first part of the road or somewhere we pulled up on, it was one of those old tarry roads, and it was all slick and shiny.
Yeah.
It didn't put any smoke off the tires. And Sean showed it to me, and I was like, no, we got to go find a different road where it'll smoke. And so I do remember that. And we had a fun time, and Sean told me he thought he was going to die in that car because he's big old guy.
He's a good sized boy, yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't remember people, what all they said about the burnout and all that stuff.
Because, what's funny about that is because I remember, your demeanor at the racetrack, you're focused, you didn't really cut up, you were there to do a job, and your job was to win the races, and didn't really care if you sold t-shirts. It wasn't like you wasn't, good with the fans. You were a racer, and you were there to race. And when the Follow the Corn documentaries come out, everybody's like, yeah, I think he's got a little bit of personality to him. I was like, that's kind of like, I love Jack Slash, and I love what he did for our sport, and it still does for our sport. I told him a few weeks ago, I said, I think USAC needs to cut you a check for all the stuff that you put on social media, the old race clips. You're doing more to promote their events than they are. Your relationship with Sean Buckley, or as everybody knows, Jack Slash, how did that help in the career? Because I know a little more than I probably should. How did that help? Because you were the first hot commodity on the internet. Like, it's hard to say, our old buddy is the hot commodity on the internet, but you were the first guy there like, oh man, like the guys in California can watch this guy in Indiana beat the shit out of people. So how did that change? Did that change or affect your career, or was you just like, okay, that's cool, I appreciate it?
I think probably didn't change it a lot, but what it did, like you said, everybody all over the country could see it, and especially out in California. It probably helped me get some rides. I mean, I I'd fly out there and drive some cars in Arizona and California, and so I'll probably just help put my name out there a little bit, and everybody that got TV time or video time, I'm sure it helped them all,
Yeah, that's I told our buddy, I said, I think it was last year, and I said, man, I know you're doing stuff you love doing. I said, but man, we sure miss you in Indiana. I said, you don't even have to come back to Indiana. I mean, just do it in California. I mean, you're out there. Yeah. we want to see the ultimate sprint cars. We want to see all that stuff. But he may have been one of the most influential people in our sport that wasn't actually in our sport. You know what I mean? Like, I know his dad raced, and he came from the racing background, but I kind of joke about this, and he told me to stop when we did our interview. But I said, you're the reason. You and Dio are the reason why we have flow sports now. Oh, stop it! I said, I'm being serious. I mean, you guys and Mark at Sports Plus Videos that did the wing stuff. You guys are the reason why the streaming stuff is available, because you were doing internet races on a laptop back in the 90s. I mean,
those were the only two guys that I can remember back then that were doing it. And I got to tell you too, loved Sean's dad. He had a great relationship with him, and they moved back here to Brownsburg, and loved his dad and loved his brother too. But I also got to tell you how Sean and our relationship got started. And it was pretty rocky, because Sean was one of the computer keyboard guys. And he was, I don't remember exactly, but it was him and some other guy were going back and forth, kind of bashing me. I felt like they were bashing me. And so one night he was at Kokomo, and I just walked up and I said, "Are you Jack Slash?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." And I just turned and walked away. And he was kind of dumbfounded, and he reached out to me. I think maybe we talked on the phone or whatever, and we kind of hashed all that out and been great friends ever since.
Yeah, I love Sean. He is my. I like when he does. I like when he gives his track prep segments. When he gets on a rant. I told him. I said, listen. He knew I coach basketball and stuff. I said, so I got an open book. You can say whatever you want. You come on my show. I said, I don't care. I said, but I do have some kids and stuff. And I'll be damned if every other word wasn't an F word. Just like we've always talked, to each other. I said, all right, well, I'll just put a parental advisory on this one. But he is a OG gangster that, and that's one thing that I look back on the Follow the Corn documentaries and stuff, and you were such a big part of all that, and the Jack Slash TV and the Flip the Switch shows. I mean, because you were the man that was competing, winning, so you guys almost had to go hand in hand, even if you didn't want to. I mean, he's covering the sport, and you are the sport. So,
well, when we kind of started off, Rocky, I'm not even sure if he was doing any video then. Probably, but maybe I just wasn't aware of it. But yeah, it wasn't no big deal, because, like I said, we talked it out, and been great friends ever since. So.
That's one thing I want to ask before we get off here, because we appreciate your time, and we can sit and talk sprint cars all night. I mean, your wife will run us out of here. It's one of those type deals. But going forwards in the state of Indiana, and the way the kids, I called it the Jeff Gordon effect. Everybody's going to move to Indiana and make it, and you got kids that come out now. I mean, see, there's so many guys that we can name that come out here. Do you think the Indiana sprint car scene is healthy enough to keep producing the stars, or do you think that they're going to have to go wing because of all the coverage that the wing racing is getting? Because we've lost a bunch of non-wing kids that we really needed. After the loss of Brian Clausen hurt our sport, because that was our superstar. That was our kid that was young and stayed with it. And we have a bunch of kids now that are jumping ship. Do you think that that's still doable, or do you think that some structure needs to be back to the sport to make it happen.
I think all of the kids that come in here and, you were saying producing, the next generation of star racers, I think there'll always be that in non-wing racing. I think it's guys like you and obviously the TV coverage that we get, that's what helps them. And the guys that you're talking about that we've lost from non-wing that went wing racing, all of those guys, I know they all go because they want to make more money.
Yeah.
But truthfully, probably half of those guys that have went over there, they're not making any more money than they did when they were here winning, because they're not over there winning now.
Yeah. Besides Courtney, the rest of Courtney, he's made a state even kill. He had a couple all-star titles and stuff that paid well, but yeah, the rest of them, they're surviving.
Yeah.
We'll just say that they're the grass isn't always greener. That's let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Talk about your business now. Talk about what you're doing. You restore a bunch of race cars. You fabricate. Is it still fun to get up and go in the shop, or is it like a dreaded job now because you're not going racing on the weekends? I mean, it's still got to be fun, or you wouldn't do it. I mean,
it's still enjoyable, and an old saying that I always heard was, do what you love and you'll never have a job. So when I told my dad that I want to race a sprint car for a living, he didn't laugh, he didn't say no. He's like, okay, but we're going to have a backup plan. And
there's the backup plan.
The fab shop's my backup plan, and I was fortunate enough to be able to race and have the fab shop, and I did, not patting myself on the back, but I did a really good job scheduling all of my work around racing. Racing came first and work came second, and I learned over the years how to do that. And you don't tell people, hey, I'm going racing, I can't work on that. I just learned, hey, I got an outside job I got to go do.
Yeah. I got two jobs.
I can do yours next week.
Yeah.
And so I was really good at scheduling it. Now that I've retired from racing, I'm terrible at scheduling work. I overbook myself and probably overwork myself, and I get aggravated, but I don't think I could go punch a clock and work for somebody. I just couldn't do it because, when it's business, people think if you're in business, you're wealthy, and it's not always the case. And everything's fine. I can pay my bills and have a little bit of money to eat at the end of the week, but the one thing I enjoy about business and kind of like racing, I can go when I want and have a little bit of freedom. So that's why I say I just could not. I'm not knocking anybody that's done it. I've worked before and punched a clock, but I've been doing this since '92. I just don't think that I could ever see myself going back to work for anybody.
Well, you got a beautiful shop here. You got a beautiful place out here.
You got a cool place to come out here and hang out if you get tired of being in there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We're sitting under the gazebo. It's a beautiful place out here. So if you get tired, you can always just come out here, kick back.
I do, and another thing about the business too is I have all the restorations that I do. I'm able to work on hot rods and muscle cars, and I work on stuff that doesn't even pertain to racing or automotive, and it's, I can tell you, I've had dumpsters in here, repairing dumpsters and trailers, and just so it keeps every day a different day.
Never gets old that way.
And there's always going to be jobs you don't like doing, but it's better than doing the same one every day.
Well, that's funny you said that, because I had a guy message me about doing a body this week, and I said, I got something in the garage, and like, what are you working on? I said, well, I'm putting floor pans in a '66 Corvair. What? How in the world did you do that? I said, my dad's got a '66 Corvair. He's going to work on it for 20 years. I told him, I said, Dad, bring it over. I'm going to get the subframe in it. We put a V8 in the front of it. And so I'm going to get all the front end done. I'm going to get your floor pans done. And I've told him I can do it in 2 weeks. and I normally can get stuff done too, but with the race schedule and stuff, I've had it for about a month now. So, but I'm to the point now that the floor pans are in, the pedals are all in, so I'm going the right direction. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean about not being able to schedule stuff, because I tell people all the time, like, yeah, I'll bring it. My wife's like, how are you going to do that? I'm like, well, I'll get it done next week. She's like, well, you got to go to Indianapolis on Tuesday. You know, Friday and Saturday you're going to be in East Tennessee. Wednesday you got to do this. I'm like, damn, I'm only going to be able to work on it Thursday. I guess I'm not going to get it done next week.
Yeah, I do the same thing, and she'll come in, well, don't forget, you know, you already said you were going to do this on this date. And I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot. Yeah. So, you know, I'll work late or whatever, and, you know, work 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week to get it done. And it doesn't bother me, because I know, you know, working in here hard, and if you have to work from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 at night, we get it done, and then, you know, we that gives me time and us to go do some things we want to do, and we like camping every once in a while, and it's nice to get out, nice to get away from the town and the shop and all of that. So
I always do this. I always say, all right, I got one last question, and then I think of something else. Because you see, we don't really have no notes. The notes that I got wrote down here is for when I type it up when it goes up. I don't write down no questions. It's organic. How much do you keep up with the racing scene now? Do you ever just say, this Friday night I'm gonna ride down to Bloomington and just hang out, or is it just, nah, I'm just gonna work on the stuff at the shop?
I usually don't go to the races unless somebody's asked me to come and help, and if I feel like doing it, I'll go. But as far as just spur of the moment saying, hey, I'm going to go to Putnamville, I really haven't. It's not to say that I don't like it. It's just I stay busy enough here that I really need to focus on what I'm doing here. That way I can do those things we talked about. But I always like, and we don't even have flow or any of the racing, but I always like watching the highlights the next day, like on YouTube or whatever. I enjoy watching that and see who's winning and what's going on. And a lot of my friends like Steve and Brad, you know, they still race, and so I'll talk to them, ask them how they did and who won. And so usually, no matter what, somebody will come in the shop that's been at the racetrack on the weekend, and I'll always, you know, find out a little bit of information about what's going on.
That's a good thing about having a shop.
Yeah, that's also a bad thing about having a shop.
If you're trying to do something.
I can't tell you how many times. All right, tell me if this has ever happened to you. So you're working on something, and you get 10 people stop by, and you don't get nothing done. But you've got something that it takes 5 people to move, and nobody's there. And by the time you get the winch up and you get it moved, you got 4 people walk in. It's like, as soon as you get done, they're like, hey, you need help with anything? Like, the last 4 hours I've been trying to move this frame off a jig. Yeah, it would have been nice.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty fortunate. I've worked by myself for so long. I've got a small little forklift in there, and I can usually do just about everything by myself. But the problem with people coming in, especially on Monday, you might as well just figure on not getting anything done. And I get...
Well, they're going to tell you what about the racing.
Get some racing done.
You got racing.
And I
shop racing.
I tell my wife, I'm like, man, today I should have had this job done in about an hour. It took all day to get a 1 hour job done because of people coming in and all that.
But you found out who threw the dirty slider, and you found out, you know, who chopped it, and who's leaving somebody's race team, and who's the guy. You find all that out, though. So I mean, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's true. You know? It does.
So we always ask everybody before we get off, you know, your sponsors. Obviously, we're not racing now, but you got anybody you want to thank along the way that helped make it happen, and just, you know, your final thoughts on, you know, your career and what Indiana sprint car racing meant to Jon Stanbrough.
I got to thank everybody and I can't remember everybody, but obviously my mom and dad for starting me out in the quarter midgets and late models, and then supporting me through the sprint car career, and all the people I've drove for, you know, the Law brothers and Paul Hazen. I mean, and another story about Paul. I honestly, I had my car my own car in 1999 or 2000, and I got to run for Paul at the end of that season 2 races, and we did pretty good. And I practically begged him over the winter, man, let me drive that car for you next year. And he finally caved in or give in to me, and that really, truthfully turned my career around, because I might have been done, you know, in 99 or 2000, because I couldn't afford to run my own sprint car. I didn't have any sponsors or anything like that, so I got to give a lot of thanks to Paul for giving me that shot, because I drove for him for 3 or 4 years, and I forget how many races we won, you know, maybe 40 or 50 races and USAC races and stuff like that. And so definitely got to give him a lot of thank you for turning the career around. And then after them, I drove for the Truckers team. I don't know if you remember those guys.
The 10 car.
Yeah. We probably won 15 or 20 races in that car over a 2-year period. And then after that, obviously, I jumped into the 53. And I think, I always have to ask Steve, but I think he told me that we won 97 races together in whatever it was, 4, 5, 6 year period.
That's a pretty good few years.
Yeah. And I've driven, I drove for Rick Doherty over in Ohio. I don't know if you remember the Peterbilt car. Won some races with him. Those guys are great people. And the Silver Crown cars that I got to run, and some of the midgets that I ran, always enjoyed all of that. And it's kind of funny, at the end of my career is when I finally got some sponsor money. So the last...
You hung around enough, they're like, I kind of like this guy.
Last 3 or 4 years, had more sponsor money in those years than I'd had my whole career. And I'm like, man, I'm about
where was this at?
I'm at the end of my rope here, so I appreciate all those guys. Got to be all the people that I met. I mean, I tell people all the time, I would have never got to travel all over the country and meet the people that I met and friends that I have now. And, Pete Golick with Scorpion Products helped me, and he was with me the last year that I raced. And Rex Calderwood from MP Environmental, and Dick Woodland. He has the Woodland Auto Display in Paso Robles. If you're ever out there, that's a hell of a museum. I think he's got maybe 70, 80, could be even 100 cars in there. He's always adding stuff, but he's got a hell of a collection out there, and it's in the same facility as an Army museum with all the airplanes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
A lot of different Army memorabilia, and some of the local guys around here, like oil sponsors and fuel sponsors and stuff like that. It's just all of these guys. I couldn't have done it without them. And I know I probably forgot somebody, but I'm just very thankful that I got to do what I got to do. And only other thing you had mentioned earlier, and I've heard it from people off and on throughout my career. People say, well, you haven't raced very much anywhere else but Indiana. And I'm like, well, I have. I mean, I forget. Sean would know. It's like 9, 10, 11 different states that I've won in.
Yeah.
And
you get a persona. You get a persona where everybody's like, you haven't done this, and it's to justify what they want the argument to be.
Right.
It's not, facts don't matter. You know how things are now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can put it on the internet. Hey, Jon Stanbrough was an asshole. Like, yeah, I told you he was, because that's what they wanted to see.
Well,
that's what they wanted. Yeah.
I heard that a lot of times, and I'm like, I get it. I understand. I'm not there to talk to you, and but after the races are over, hey, I'm open to talking to anybody.
He's talking to us. Yeah. If he hang out with us, he'll hang out with anybody.
I got to tell you a funny story too about one night at Hobstadt, we had won. I was in the 53 car, and this guy come up to me, and he said, "You're an asshole." I go, "Well, why do you say that?" And he goes, "Well, because every time I see you, you win." And I said, "Well, isn't that what I'm supposed to do?"
Yeah.
And he just kind of
sorry, man.
He shrugged his shoulders, and I said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And he said, "Well, I think he said he's a carpenter or something." And I said, "Well, you do a good job at it?" And he goes, "Well, damn right I do." And I go, "Well, I don't come to your job and tell you you're an asshole, do you?"
Yeah.
And he walked off, and I stayed there, and I was whatever with
like,
fans
"What
and
the
all of
hell?"
that. 30 minutes later, he came back, and he stuck his hand out and shook my hand. And he goes, "You're all right, man."
Yeah.
So, I mean,
You made him think about that one, didn't you?
yeah.
You're like, you know what? You ain't worth a damn at laying tile. What do you mean?
Yeah. And so I've told a few people that, like, this is my job, and I said, you wouldn't want me coming and bugging you while you were doing your job. And usually when you word it like that to people, they understand.
Yeah.
And and I've had a few people too come up to me and, "Man, you're not very good on the half mile. You're pretty good on all the little tracks." And I go, "Well, what about Terre Haute?"
What about Eldora?
And I said, "Yeah, well, you won there, but that's in." I said, "Well, I won at Oskaloosa, Iowa. That's a half mile." And I said, "Yeah, I won at Eldora. That's a half mile." And again, I go, "How many half miles you won on? Where'd you win at?"
Yeah.
So, no matter what, there's always somebody out there that wants to knock you down. But there's a lot of great fans out there too that aren't like that either.
Well, you have our support. I mean, I pulled out a 15 or 20-year-old T-shirt just to show you the support.
Like I said, when I first started running dirt racing, I ran asphalt forever. I started running dirt, and I probably Bloomington might have been the first time I seen you, because I ran Bloomington the first time I was there with a modified. I about flipped over right in front of the pit bleachers. I would come off the track, landed, knocked both left side tires off the wheels. But I'm pretty sure John was there and probably won that night. And that was one of my heroes when I was just coming up in dirt racing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, what I think's cool, you're one of the first few guys that really had a nickname. I mean, there's a few. I mean, you had a few, but like, do you know where the silent gasser came from? Who gave you that?
Sounds to me like he's riding in a truck with the windows rolled up.
Yeah, that's not a very good nickname. I really don't.
Well, I understand the nickname. You didn't really talk to anybody, and you was on the gas, so I get it. Yeah. But I was just wondering if you think
probably because he rolled around them so fast they never heard him tell you.
Yeah. It could have been Sean. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to ask him. Yeah. I'll have to ask him. Did you? I'm gonna tell him. Stanbrough don't even like that name. Did you give it to him?
Well, people don't know me. They might think exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Around in the truck with the windows rolled up. So.
Man, how do you get this nickname? Well, he drive to the racetrack. He shit on all of us.
Yeah. I guess I should have talked more.
Yeah. But we appreciate you coming on. Like I said, trade-in slider approved. I don't know if that's not quite Sprint Car Hall of Fame, but it works for us. Yeah. We appreciate you coming on, and thank you for taking time. I know you've got a bunch of projects going on, and inviting us up here to your beautiful place. And we really appreciate what you've done, how you left your mark, and you're one of the good guys in racing. Even though some guys might think you're an asshole, they just don't know you.
Yeah.
Just come hang out at the shop, not on Mondays. He's got enough people come by on Mondays. You want to come by on Wednesday, he'll let you take him to lunch. Yeah. But we appreciate you coming on. Jon Stanbrough, thank you.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that the train didn't go by while we were talking, but I appreciate you guys.
Well, we are too.
I will edit that in for you if you want, and you can listen back to it, because I promise you when we're doing our part of this at home, the train's going to come through.
We'll say something about it when it does.
I live in just south of Louisville in Brooks, and the Ford plant is 5 miles from the house, and they load those damn things up all day and night. Literally the train track, you can throw a baseball from my front porch, you don't even gotta have a good arm, you can hit it. Right. So, but
it's loud enough that when I'm on the phone, whoever it might be, I got to tell them, hold on a minute, because it's so loud I can't even talk. So, yeah.
But thank you again, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Flash. That was a silent gasser, Jon Stanbrough. As I said, I know he lives in Brownsburg, but he's always going to be from Avon, Indiana in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because that's what my 3 or 4 shirts that I have says Avon, Indiana on them. Just one of the absolute good guys in our sport. And one thing that I really liked about Stanbrough was, first off, when we got there, dude's working his ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Pouring sweat. I mean,
and this is at 7:30 at night.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't get there. It was probably closer to 8.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get there on the time that we were supposed to.
Right.
Maybe, like when we talk about our show and some of what's really neat is how we always do these on the road. What a lot of people don't understand is we're at the racetrack on the weekends.
Yeah. So we're doing these during the week.
Yeah. And the week that we recorded this, I was in Indianapolis 3 nights that week before we went to Tennessee for the weekend for the race trip.
Right.
So it was it was one of those things that, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. What's really cool on our end, like we roll up in Jon Stanbrough's place. He's working on race cars, and just wants to hang out and bullshit. And that's just really, it's a lot of fun. It's it's a lot of work. It's a lot of travel. There's a lot of sleepless nights. There's a lot of long nights involved.
Yeah.
There's sometimes that.
But when we leave here and go to Indianapolis, we don't get home till 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I have to be at work at 7 the next morning.
Yeah.
And you got to be at like 8. So.
Yeah. But I'm at work at 7:30 every. So it's there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. And one thing, I'm bouncing around like I always do.
Yeah.
First off, cool about Stanbrough, and then I want to talk about something. Cool about Stanbrough was, he's there working on the race cars, and he's just like, inviting, and everybody that we've been to, nobody has felt like, nobody's made us feel like, hey, let's get this over with. I don't want to do it.
No,
Everybody's been phenomenal. It's been great. Stanbrough, I got a patio outside. This is where we rest and relax. And we got cicadas, and we got crickets.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's as we're sitting there interviewing. Quite frankly, one of the greatest traditional non-wing sprint car racers in the history of our sport. And dude's just normal dude like us that's working on race cars and hanging out the shop. That stuff like that's just fun. It's a lot of fun. And but as I was saying, every week we get 10 to 15, sometimes 30 to 35 suggestions.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys need to get this guy. You guys need to interview this guy. You guys, look, guys, we are up and open to all suggestions.
Yeah.
Send us a suggestion. We, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. But I had somebody tell me the other day, he goes, hey, he sent me a message and he goes, you need to get Red Farmer and his crew chief from the Alabama gang.
Yeah.
I said, well, I appreciate you listening, but we do all of our stuff in person. I'd love to get Red Farmer. Maybe that's something we can work out over the winter,
Yeah.
He goes, well, I mean, I'm sure you can get Red stop by the studio. I said, do you know where we're out of?
Yeah.
I said, where are you out of? He said, he said he was from Coleman, Alabama, which is KTJ's hometown.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys aren't in Alabama? I'm like, no, we're in Louisville, Kentucky. He goes, well, how did I find you guys? I said, I don't know, but I appreciate it. He goes, well, I thought you were from Alabama because you were talking about North Alabama Speedway. I said, well, we have been to that racetrack.
Yeah.
We've been to the Ice Bowl. We've been to those events.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I always thought you old boys are from Alabama. I said,
no.
I said, no. I said,
sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, so how in the world would I get all these Indiana sprint car drivers interviews if I lived in Alabama?
Yeah.
So,
KTJ maybe. But.
Yeah. So it was just but it was funny though. I was just like, but this old boy just wanted me to ride up to Red's house and see what he's doing. You know, like, well, he's right down the road. So
well, maybe in January we might be able to work on that.
Might be able to pull that off. But yeah, it was funny though. But yeah, I mean, we appreciate everybody reaching out. We've had people, hey, you need to interview my grandpa. You need to interview this guy, or even what's even better than that. I've had people send me phone numbers and stuff. Said, hey, reach out to this guy. I think they'll like what you're doing. And so everybody that's involved in the show, thank you.
Yeah, it's not just us. Yeah, you guys help make the show.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, upcoming events this week. Event number 1, Wednesday night, be Flow Night in America at the beautiful Tri-State Speedway in Hopstad, Indiana. I know it's a Wednesday night. I know Hopstad's on Central Time. So it puts you in an hour later. And I know they're only running one division. I get all that. But super late models at Hopstadt.
Yeah.
Anything at Hopstadt's worth the price of admission.
Oh, yeah.
Super late models are worth the price of admission. So if you cannot be at Hopstadt Wednesday night, make sure you tune in on Flow because late models on a quarter-mile paperclip high bank racetrack. It's fun.
The best late model race I ever seen in my entire life, still to this day, was Hopstadt with Don O'Neill and Kevin Claycomb.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was the best late model race I've ever seen in my entire life, and the best person I ever seen qualify at that racetrack was Jim Curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're throwing out old names,
Yeah.
did you see who raced at Peevely this weekend?
Uh-uh.
Randy King Kong Cordy raced a super late model this weekend.
Cool.
So there just might be a chance that he's knocking the dust off for Hopstadt.
Yeah.
You never know, but
he's good.
He was another one at Hopstadt. Yeah, my buddy Robert, previous guest on the show, the Ultimate Race Chaser, he sent me a message. Hey, King Kong's at Peevely.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We got guys that message us all over the place to keep us in the loop.
Yeah.
So that's Wednesday. And then Friday and Saturday, this is this week's Racetrack Spotlight. I know we've talked about it 100 times, but Brownstown Speedway, the Jackson 100, and the C.J. Rayburn Tribute Race. Friday night, C.J. Rayburn Tribute Race, $15,000 to win. Saturday night, the Jackson 100, $50,000 to win.
Yeah.
One of the biggest super late model races in the region. Was at one time one of the biggest super late model races in the world.
Yeah.
But there's some higher paying races, but the prestige itself and racing at Brownstown for the Jackson 100, and there's a little rumor going around. This may be one of the last times you get to see Brownstown Speedway with the covered bleachers.
Oh yeah.
There's some stuff going on that I think Brownstown's in the works. I don't know if I should really be releasing this, but I already said it. So I think they're in the works to get a whole new front stretch bleachers.
Yeah, I think if I heard it for like 2 years now, so and I think it might be really coming true.
I think it's like really in the works. So
I'm saying.
Like it's gonna be like they're gonna put on like a bleacher like Warrensburg, partly covered. I mean, that'd be nice. It's gonna be state of the art.
Still keep some of the nostalgia type to it. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool.
So there will be some people.
And the other big news for there this weekend is who's going to be there Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, who is going to be there, Flash?
The real deal.
Don O'Neill.
Yeah, he's going to be back.
In the Masterbuilt house car.
Yeah.
So
I think it's one of the new unlimited cars, too, I think.
Yeah, it's one of the newer, it's actually the unlimited. Yeah. It's the test car.
Yeah.
So it's the unlimited that's got no limits type thing. They got it stuck on her. But this week's JT's Trackside and Catering Racetrack Spotlight, Brownstown Speedway, Brownstown, Indiana, quarter-mile bull ring, wide racetrack, no walls in the turn. Unfortunately, they're not putting that. They're not going to. That's not going to be.
They're not figuring that in with the bleachers.
That's not figured in with the bleachers. That's going to be phase 2, hopefully. Phase 2, they're going to put a wall up so we can have a cushion like Fairbury, but that's something else. But Brownstown Speedway, fairgrounds facility, plenty of places to camp, plenty of shade. Just one of my favorite racetracks that we always kind of take for granted. Because it's Brownstown and it's always been home. It's been right up the road.
Right.
So we just kind of take that place for granted. But the food item of the week, Brownstown Speedway, I'm going to give you 2 because it's basically just one. The Sloppy Joe sandwich is incredible. And you can get chili cheese fries nacho, or chili cheese fries, or chili cheese nachos. And it's got the Sloppy Joe sauce on it. So however you want to work it out.
Yeah, they're famous for their Sloppy Joes.
The Sloppy Joe. A funny story about the Sloppy Joe sandwich. So it was last year. Earlier last year, it was maybe the icebreaker or something. I go up, I said, I'm going to give me a Sloppy Joe sandwich. And what's the lady in the pits name?
I cannot think of her name. She was there last night, though.
Margaret or something?
The night before last, yeah. She's one.
She makes homemade lemonade, homemade sweet tea.
Yeah.
And she goes, honey, I'm going to have to tell you. They raised the Sloppy Joe sandwiches from $5 to $6.
Yeah.
I said, I better take 2 of them then.
Yeah.
Because they're that much better.
Yeah.
So Brownstown Speedway Friday and Saturday. And then also Friday night, the Ohio Thunder 305 Race Saver Sprints and the Speed 2 D2 Midgets is at Moeller Raceway Park in Moeller, Ohio. Friday night, USAC National Sprint Cars are at Paragon Speedway in Paragon, Indiana. That's always a good show. Saturday night, 410 Season Championship is at 410 Sprint Car Season Championship is at the Lincoln Park Speedway, And our boy, Tomahawk, limited track champion, going for 4-time consecutive track championships at Lincoln Park Speedway.
That's pretty cool.
I think all he's got to do is run 15th or above in a feature, and he's going to sew up a 4-time track championship there at Pumpkinville. So that's a pretty good deal. Yeah. Also, the final ticket to Tulsa Saturday night at Paragon, Indiana for the 410 Midwest Sprint Car Series. And this is one of the events that I wish we were going to, but we've got our own event going on.
Yeah.
But Mod Mania, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Tri-City, Illinois. $2,000 a win on Thursday, $3,000 a win on Friday, and $5,000 a win. And then Friday and Saturday at the I-75 Speedway, the USCS Thunder Sprint Car Series is going to be there. And then last but certainly not least, Saturday night, the final points race for the Cumberland Plateau Oval One Modified Series. 3 drivers mathematically have a shot for the title at the Sugar Creek Raceway in Sugar Creek, Georgia. So
that's a pretty neat little place too.
Yes, it is.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to put that on the list to do as a...
Yeah, that's one of those places that you need to go check out because there's a lot going on in the little town.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cool stuff if you like whitewater rafting.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful area, too.
Another place not really easy to get to.
Yeah.
It's not really easy to get to.
It's not easy to get to.
But once you get there, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But yes, so the Cumberland Plateau Oval Modifieds, we make our way down to Sugar Creek Raceway in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I said Sugar Creek, Georgia, but Blue Ridge, Georgia. If you say Sugar Creek and you're from Georgia, you know where it's at.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. Like we said at the start of the show, 1 year, 52 consecutive weeks, 54 podcasts out. So we're proud of what we've done, and we continue going forwards. We're just gonna do the damn thing because when we first got started in this, there was a lot of people that said, "Hey, long form interviews isn't it a thing that you need to do?" And we asked and we talked to people, and I said, "Yeah, but I really want people to know who our guest is." And they said, "Well, people's attention spans aren't that great. They'll be done, after 15, 20 minutes. Keep it within 30 to 40 minutes."
Yeah.
We can't keep nothing.
We couldn't do that. So we tried. It wasn't working.
So that's just not quite our thing. But we appreciate you hanging out each and every week.
Yeah.
Please tell somebody about us. Like, share, subscribe, comment, post, retweet, all that stuff.
Yeah. One other thing on a local level around here too, I want to mention. I'm probably gonna mention this every week till it happens.
Yeah.
Thunder Valley Speedway. We got a little more information. They are running October 25th. It's going to be called the Crown Vic Nationals, I think is what they're calling it. And we really need people to show up for this, guys, because this is going to maybe determine whether they can get something going next year or not. So all the racing should be done about then. If you guys can show up, and if you show up just to watch, or if you can bring your cars if you got them, please do that. I'm going to be working there. Bobby was going to, but I think he's got some family obligations. He might not be able to make it, but I'm gonna be there helping those guys out. So just try to show up so we don't lose another racetrack.
And if you need any information, especially when it gets closer, we're gonna go over this. But if you need any information at all, Flag to Flag Media, they have you covered. Their Facebook, their Instagram. But reach out to Matt and them, JT anybody with Zachary Stalker, anybody with Flag to Flag Media. Reach out to them.
And what's cool about this, it's race car drivers that are putting this on. I mean, these guys were flat busting their ass last night in the pits. I worked with all of them last night in the pits, and they are racers. Yeah. And they're not doing this to make money. They're doing this to try to keep a racetrack alive in Indiana. So we really need to get some people out there if we can.
And it's a pretty cool little racetrack. Yeah. A racetrack that a lot of people don't know the history of.
My son's got out of our whole family, he's got our only dirt championship there. Yeah. My son Cody. So that's pretty cool.
And it's one of those racetracks. We'll get into it. The week of, we're going to do a little special thing for that. So help bring awareness.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue to tell people about us. Word of mouth is the best form of advertisement. We appreciate it. This is year 1. We're going to continue each and every week.
Yeah.
And this makes Jon Stanbrough. No train came through, and he promised us it would. Yeah. No train came through here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to edit that damn thing in.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how we managed to pull it off again. So you got anything else, Flash?
No, I think we're good. Just get out and support your racetracks the rest of the year while you can, because it's going to be turning cooler on us, and then you'll have to either do traveling or watch on TV. Yeah. Or listen to us.
Yeah, or listen to us. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
But until next time, we'll be trading sliders.